What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to From the Bench Vols. I'm your host, Will Meadows, and today we don't have a lot to talk about. We just have one thing to talk about. It's Nico Iamaleava. I'm sure everybody knows that, and all the drama and controversy that's surrounding him and our football program. It's a lot to talk about. I usually get this show out in the morning, but I wanted to wait to record it. Usually I record it the night before and upload it the next morning. I wanted to wait because what happened today, what I thought was going to happened today. So I wanted to wait for that so I was able to talk about that. But before we get into any of it, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and leave a comment on how you feel about this absolutely just ridiculous news. It's just insane. So let's get right into it. Nico Iamaleava, I'm sure most Tennessee fans have seen the news on 3 reports that he basically wants a contract standoff, which is something that you would see in the NFL. We talked a little bit about it on my TikTok, and make sure you guys are followed to it. It's just _ from the bench, a blue and red logo instead of this black, orange, and white one. But we've been doing good over there, so make sure you guys go give that a follow and check that out. But we talked about it last night, and those words shouldn't even be able to be said. A contract standoff in college football for a guy who has started 1 year for a program. Just absolutely ridiculous. They're going through contract negotiations. Reportedly, his team wanted $4 million through that when the winter transfer portal door closed or window closed. Just ridiculous, man. And then, so I kind of guessed this was going to happen just out of kind of pure luck. I knew Tennessee was going to have practice today, and he didn't show up to practice today, which came to a lot of surprise for a lot of people. I kind of just figured that was going to happen, especially with all that drama happening the night before. And he didn't show up to practice today. Definitely not a good sign, to say the least. I mean, his dad went out on Twitter and said some unkind words about On3's Pete Nakos, and just said that he asked me if I knew anything, and I said no. That's basically it. He didn't say this isn't true, but he just claims he didn't know anything. I don't believe that at all, but I'm sure, who knows what his dad has to say. His dad's always been kind of not a mouth in a bad way, but he makes his feelings known on social media and just in general. Very big guy, pretty scary looking. I'm sure you've seen him if you're a Tennessee fan when they show him on the screen, but that's besides the point. Nico Iamaleava is wanting more money for who knows what. We all know who he is. Had an all-right year last year, but the former 5-star #1 quarterback in the country, depending on what site you look at. Just a great arm talent. Man, you can't even make it up. Is he worth all this money? Who knows? And I'm sure that this happens more behind closed doors than we think. Maybe. But this is the second time he's asked for more money this offseason. And for him to want to do this, it's just going to be a mess either way, and I'll get into that a little more in a minute, but I just don't think he's worth the money. And why I think it's a mess either way is Tennessee fans, I have it right here. I'm actually going to pick it up and hope that I can get it back. This is all over Tennessee's campus. It's all over Tennessee's locker room, and it has been since I've been alive. I'm sure it's been much longer than that, for decades on decades. I will give my all for Tennessee today. That is Tennessee's motto, and that's what they live by, this, that, and the other. Hope that'll stay. But Tennessee fans, older fans, even me, like as a younger fan, like Tennessee fans are so heavy in their tradition, just like a lot of SEC football programs. Most people agree that NIL is relatively ruining the sport, but like you gotta want to have that power T on your chest. And play for the power T on your chest and then the name on your back. And I feel like this is just such a big slap in the face, like Nico Iamaleava saying that he's only here for the highest bidder, which is just ridiculous to me. And in my opinion, I don't know anywhere else that would pay him that much. I'm sure I can be stand corrected because everybody is ready just to pay a lot of money in this world of NIL. But he's not, and I was talking about this to somebody else earlier today, but like I don't think he's worth all that money because he wasn't bad last year, but he definitely wasn't up to his expectations, and part of that's probably Tennessee fans' fault and the media's fault. Like he got really hyped up in that offseason last year. He definitely didn't live up to those expectations, had some good games against bad teams, but struggled to just light it up, especially when we lost to Arkansas. Didn't have a very good game. Just didn't live up to expectations in the nicest way possible. And for him to want more and more money after that is just kind of ridiculous to me because we paid him so much out of high school. And who knows? None of us know. You can say you know, but unless you're in behind closed doors, none of us know how much he's legitimately getting paid. All that is so he say, she say, because they also said that we paid him $8 million out of high school. Why would we pay him $8 million and then be asking for $4 million? So nobody knows all that money besides them, as much as you want to think you know it. But you have to wonder why he thinks he deserves more money. And what I was explaining to somebody else is, I don't think he's worth that money. Now, if somebody were to get that money and be at the same level of play as Nico, so maybe not worth it, they're going to have to be a very attractive personality. Because NIL is name, image, and likeness. Likeness, heavy on the likeness. Like, how attractive are you to a company who wants you to advertise their product? Nico's not much of any personality outside of the game of football. Like, he's not big on social media, all that stuff like that. Like, Nico's not some big personality that you want that's going to sell a bunch of jerseys. And now, granted, I mean, he sold jerseys. There's no denying that. But I'm sure you guys understand what I mean. Nico's a pretty level-headed guy, which is not a problem. Doesn't say much at all. Pretty quiet from what the fans see. And he's not going to go this is probably the biggest one ever, but Johnny Manziel it and just get people out of their seats and sell a lot of things to make a lot of money. You get what I'm saying. I feel like I'm kind of beating around the bush, but you get what I'm saying. He's not the biggest personality. I think if he does leave, I've heard per some reliable sources that it's going to be USC or it's going to be Notre Dame. USC is obviously a lot closer to home, and Notre Dame is recruiting like no other. But, man, it's just ridiculous. I personally, I don't really hope I'm wrong, but I do think he's going to leave, especially after, yes, it's the money thing, but they've just kind of screwed it. In a lack of a better term, they screwed it because Tennessee fans, like I said, are so caught up in tradition, and rightfully so. I'm the same way. I feel this way too. You have to want to give your all for Tennessee today. And he is basically just saying, hey, I'm here for the highest bidder. Like, if Nico Iamaleava was to leave, Tennessee fans are going to hate him. But if Nico Iamaleava comes back, Tennessee fans are not going to like him. Like, it's just straight up with it. Now, I'm sure if he goes and has a Heisman-like season and does this, that, and the other, then Tennessee fans will quickly learn to love him. But if he gives you another season like he did last year where there's a little bit of question marks, like, Tennessee fans are not going to be a big fan of Nico. Excuse me. But I do think he is going to end up leaving, which a lot of people are going to ask who would be the quarterback if Nico Iamaleava leaves. It's Jake Merklinger and it's George McIntyre. I'd assume that it is Jake Merklinger, and I think Jake Merklinger has gotten a lot better through spring practice, definitely improved from his freshman year last year as a former 4-star recruit, participated as the Elite 11, and I mean, he's going to be, it's going to be the same thing as last year, like with a worse prospect, if that makes sense. But it's just hard, and especially with how good the SEC is now, like to just strap on and go play SEC football with no college experience. We saw it with Nico, especially with so many people's quarterbacks being transfers now or have played for a while, just with how the transfer portal is and NIL money is. So we'll see. I'm not going to go give it prediction on how Jake Merklinger would do because we don't even know if he would be the quarterback if Nico's going to leave or if he would be the quarterback if Nico were to leave. So who knows? It's just all absolutely ridiculous. And I'll add to this is, I mean, it's Tennessee related because we're talking about Nico, but so many people want to see a fix with the transfer portal, with NIL. We see it in college football, college basketball, baseball, everything. Mainly in football because that's where a lot of schools' money goes to. But people, the first solution that they have is a cap. Why am I drawing a blank? Just a cap. I'll say that. Just a cap for money. Well, the first problem with that is you can't have Alabama spending the same amount of money as UT Chattanooga. That just doesn't work right there. Now, there's also been the solution that, you can change it with the conferences and the teams, like Alabama and LSU can spend the same amount of money, and then UT Chattanooga and Murray State. I don't even know if they have a football team. It was just the first one I thought of. UT Chattanooga and MTSU can spend the same amount of money. I think, in my opinion, while yes, that sounds right, that there would be more money under the table and just illegal money being given out than ever. Like, it was obviously a thing before NIL was a deal, but I think there'd be more money under the table than ever. I think that it would be worse than what it is now, in my humble opinion. And I don't think there's a fix to it at all. It's not Nico's fault, it's not Tennessee's fault, but it's the NCAA's fault. I think the semi-reasonable, and it wouldn't even apply to Nico, but I think the just answer to this in the transfer portal a little bit is that after the first year, after your first transfer, you have to sit out a year. So if you transfer for a second time, you got to sit out. You lose a year eligibility. Third time, sit out. Fourth time, sit out. You get it. Just to somewhat regulate it, because we've seen it in college basketball. I talked about it on that TikTok as well. Meechie Johnson, if you're not familiar with that name, is a college basketball player now committed to the South Carolina Gamecocks for the second time, and that is ridiculous. Meechie Johnson, out of high school, was committed to Ohio State. Then he transferred to South Carolina. That's fine. He transferred from South Carolina back to Ohio State last year. He enters the portal at the end of March, and on April 1st commits back to South Carolina. So he has gone Ohio State, South Carolina, Ohio State, South Carolina. That should not be allowed. Like, the only time that the transfer portal is beneficial is when you're having guys who get overlooked. Jacoby Gillespie is a good example. Now, obviously, he's transferred. I'll just use his time from Belmont and Maryland as an example. Jacoby Gillespie plays in a small town in East Tennessee at Greenville High School, gets pretty overlooked out of high school, goes to Belmont, stays there for 2 years, gets a lot better, is an all-conference player at Belmont his second year, and transfers up to Maryland. That happens a lot. Like, if it's a smaller school and a really good player, they need to go up. As much as it sucks for March Madness, and we've seen that debate, like, the transfer portal's ruined it, like, you're not going to have near as many Cinderella teams. Cinderella teams aren't supposed to be common. But, like, if you're a really good player at a school like Belmont, you deserve to go up. I mean, that's just the nature of the sport. That's the nature of athletics. Like, if you're better than where you're at, you need to go up. That's what we've learned since we were 4 years old. I don't understand that argument. But that's the only time the transfer portal is beneficial. All this crap with the money is just absolutely ridiculous. I know everyone probably feels the same way, and I really want to know how you guys feel about this. It ticks me off. I hope he leaves, as kind of crazy as that sounds. I don't know if we'll be as good next year, but I hope he leaves. I want a guy that wants to rep Tennessee instead of rep the dollar amount next to his name. That's just how I feel. It's taking the pride and the school spirit, as kind of corny as that sounds, and it's just not the game that we loved at one point, as corny as that sounds as well, but it's just ridiculous. The transfer portal is not necessarily a problem, in my opinion, but it's the NIL. It's just more than anything, the NIL. And I don't know if there's ever going to be a healthy fix to it, so we'll see. It's absolutely ridiculous, but that's the only topic I wanted to come on here and talk about. It's just, obviously, it's the number one topic in college football in this America right now. Pete Nakos is following it a bunch on On3. Pete Thamel of ESPN is following it a bunch, so I'll keep you guys updated. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. If something happens big, I'll come on here, even if it's not a Wednesday or a Friday, and make a quick little video for you guys. But this is just absolutely ridiculous. Again, I really do want you guys to leave a comment on how you feel about it. I'm sure I can guess how most people feel, but I really do want to hear what y'all have to say, because I want them gone. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this short kind of episode. It just fills me with anger that this is what football's come to, and it sucks that it's a Tennessee fan and you're having to deal with this all at once. But thank you guys for watching. Have a great weekend, and go Vols.